Hey guys, it's Honor Janeski here with Awakened Motherhood, and I'm coming in today to answer a couple parenting questions that were posted by Shay. Thank you, Shay, and hopefully your action will inspire others to participate and to take action as well. I know lots of you must have parenting questions, and I'd love to come back in and share again and help those of you who are needing help. So what I want to do is start off with the first question. So there are two that Shay posted, and one is, how do we help our kids when they feel overwhelmed or they're having a big feeling, to not be overwhelmed by the feeling? And then the other is, sorry about the sun behind giving you that beautiful background. The other one is, how do we respond when a child goes, I don't care? And it could be a 4-year-old, it could be a 14-year-old. It's coming from the same place. So what we're going to do is start with that second one, and then we'll go back to the first one. So the second question, what do you do about a child, great question, who you're in an interaction with, and you have said something, you have threatened to take something away, you have given them a consequence, and they, for an action they've taken, and they say, I don't care. And they're mad, and they are letting you know that. How do you respond with that? What do you do with that? So the first thing I want to say is about this is it's important that you understand where that behavior is coming from, where those words are coming from. And most people don't realize this, but when kids go, I don't care, really just sit back and listen to yourself and feel what you feel when they say that. If you're able to do that, if you are connected at all to yourself, you're able to kind of lean back and go, that feels like shutting down. A good clue is, what are you feeling? Angry, shut down, wanting to win the argument, wanting to make your point, wanting to let the other person know you have no control over me. You have no control over the way that I feel, right? Okay, so when our kids say this to us, what's happening is we are hearing them say what they need. Our kids are always expressing to us what they need. They're giving us feedback all the time, what works for them and what doesn't work for them. Okay, so when our kiddo says, I don't care, or I don't care, and they act and they're just doing that very, you might have a really skilled professional at pretending like whatever you do doesn't bother them. That is a kid trying to find out what they do have control over and where they can assert their power and their will. And I do not in any way mean that as a bad thing. I mean it as a good thing. So if your kid says to you, I don't care, what's happening, you guys, is that you have, without realizing it, set up a dynamic between the two of you, or in that moment, where there's a power struggle happening. You might not realize it, but you've already lost by that point, because you're in an interaction where your kid is feeling pressured and you're feeling pressured, and you are trying to push some kind of agenda or assert your control over them, and their only response as a smaller human who doesn't have as much power as you do is to say, I'm not going to let you get to me. You can take away the tablet, you can deny me this, you can make my life miserable, and one thing I have left is I'm not going to care about it. I'm not going to give you that satisfaction. So in that way, a child is saying, I'm just looking for some way to maintain my sense of self and my ownership over what I want here, because I'm not feeling like I have a connection or ownership over my power. That may have been too much to share here. I hope not. I hope this is helpful. So it's not that it's right or wrong, because a lot of women are doing it, a lot of us are doing it, a lot of your partners are doing it. I don't want to make it wrong, but I want to point out that it probably isn't working for you. It probably isn't working at all to get you the results you want. If you've got a kid who's saying to you, I don't care, get out of here, you're probably not able to get their cooperation, get their respect, have like respectful exchanges with them about the house expectations, your rules, your relationship with them, that kind of thing, because those two things don't go together. So if you're already in a power struggle dynamic with your kid, which is very typical given until we do inner work to learn a new way, we are repeating patterns of old. We're just repeating what was done to us, or trying really hard to do the opposite of that. And either way, there isn't really authentic co-created magic between you and your child. It's just kind of like programming, or trying to override programming and force a new way. And without being grounded and anchored into knowing what your approach is and why your approach is that, and being able to communicate that to your kiddo, then you will default into these old power struggle patterns. Okay, so that's why it happens. It's an area that you haven't uncovered and healed yet. It's like what I call motherhood wounds, and those are here to heal, and our kids show us what those are every day. And they hold up the mirror and they go, this is where you've reached your upper limit, Mom, and you don't know how to handle me right now. And you feel it. You feel it, and it makes you so mad. Wow. And when we hit that limit and we just want to make them do, we just want to control them. We want to make them understand. We want to make them comply. We want to punish them when they don't. We want them to just pay a price, right? Because we're paying such a dear price. And all of that is just like mudslinging, not parenting. You know what I mean? It's power struggle BS that takes everybody down. So that is the first. That's the answer to the first question. What to do when kids go, I don't care. Notice what I didn't tell you is like how to control them, because that isn't the goal. The goal isn't that you control your puppets. You know that you don't want puppets. You want free thinkers. You want self-responsibility. You want kids who initiate. You want kids who think out of the box, who can solve their own problems. You want kids who are smart, who are trustworthy and capable when their feet hit the ground and they run into the world. That's what we want. We want our kids to be able to thrive without us telling them every little single thing to do and how to do it. And so if you're raising those thinkers, you got to get out of the power struggle mode, which means upgrading your skill set, your parenting skill set, knowing, creating an approach that works, modeling an approach that works, and getting kids to see and take responsibility for your expectations of them, basically, and how to guide themselves through accomplishing those things that you ask of them. Okay, with your support, of course, and your love and your adoration and your affection and all those things, but we certainly don't want to have to control and smash our kids into submission to get them to a point where they go like, you don't affect me. What you say, what you do to me doesn't touch me. That really is kind of, in a way, a cry for help. A kid saying like, I don't feel like I have power and control over my experience here. And that's an area to grow. Okay. So if you're stuck there and you want help, then that is a place I would say definitely reach out. The other question, which is also an excellent question, how to help kids deal with big feelings when they're overwhelmed. So this one is a little bit of the answer I'll give you is not do 1, 2, 3 kind of cookie cutter response. And the reason why is because your human is different from every other human on the planet, as are you. So the relationship we co-create with our kids is very contingent on personally what works for me as a mom. That's how I parent. What works for me as a mom and the temperament of these kids that I have, that's how I need to parent them. What works for your kids is going to be totally different from that in many, many cases. I know from working with hundreds and hundreds of clients over the years that every child is unique. Every mother in the way that she desires to parent is unique. And so again, like being able to be a thinker and a strategist and not get stuck in your own emotions and in the weeds of your own thought processes is what creates successful parenting. Every day is new and different. Every developmental level is new and different. So in order to be able to be present for your kids, grounded and anchored emotionally, so not in overwhelm, in order to be there, then you have to be able to create that within yourself. Otherwise, it doesn't show up on a dime when your kid is overwhelmed, right? Just because we're adults doesn't mean we can ground a kid who's overwhelmed. Just because we're human In fact, because we are human, we cannot automatically do this. we're a disaster when it comes to our thoughts and emotions. We're having like billions and billions and billions of thoughts every day that will never be in our awareness. We won't catch them. Even the most in tune, aware expert in meditation, awareness, and psychology is not going to hear several million thoughts every day. Or is it every hour? I forget the quote. There's a statistic that that neuroscience has given us, and it's incredible. It's like, oh my God. So if that is the case, I better have one thing that I know how to do as a mom with these raw humans, and that is control myself emotionally and think clearly. Right? If I don't think clearly, if I'm not focused, if I'm not grounded, if I'm not solid, what really could I expect that's any different from that in a parenting moment, in a challenge, when my kiddo is flaking out on me? I could not expect myself, that would be unfair, wouldn't it, to respond any better than my child is responding if I don't have a method and an approach for being grounded, present, and clear and focused emotionally and mentally. Okay. So a lot of women are asking of themselves that they could do things that they can't normally do. And that's where we fall flat. That's where we feel like we're failing. That's where we beat ourselves up, where we compare to this imaginary Instagram image or whatever. And it's not fair to do that to yourself. What makes sense is and more sense and is more efficient is to look inward and really be honest with yourself and assess, am I where I want to be? Do I have a clear approach? Do I know how to implement that approach? And am I seeing the results that I should be seeing? Am I seeing results from these smart, capable kids who I really love and they really love me? Is the home working beautifully? Or am I like knowing what I want, but I'm not getting the result? My kids aren't cooperating. They're overwhelmed all the time. If I'm being honest, I'm overwhelmed all the time. Well, that makes sense, right? How you feel is what they're showing you. And if I'm honest, am I feeling frustrated and annoyed with them a lot of the time? What you're going to get back is a heap of power struggle, lack of cooperation, pushback, testing, disrespect, all those things. Right? You guys know it. So, really hoping that this has been helpful to open your eyes, open your mind to where you might be getting stuck. And, this is work I'm doing with my clients on an ongoing basis. The question, I don't care, came up in a program call. A client asked me that question last week, and we went deep into specifically what's going on with her so she could immediately unpack it and shift it and stop getting that response from her child, which she will now, because what we're creating when we're doing that, when I'm doing that work with clients, is how it can work for you. So working from your temperament, your expectations, your set of beliefs, your faith, your desire of who you want to be as a mom, working from that template, then we're able to individualize and create the approach and the implementation of that's going to work for you and for your kids. And everyone is so different. So I would say if you're stuck in either of these areas and you're not feeling like you want to be a match for everyday suffering and struggling, you feeling like you might be at the end of how much you're willing to tolerate in terms of feeling unhappy or frustrated or overwhelmed, please do reach out. Reach out, don't hesitate. Comment here, you can message me. I would just go straight to my calendar. I do give people time. That's one of my gifts to anyone in this group. If you want to just lay out to me, like, here's where I'm stuck and here's what's going on, then we will assess if I can help you. And if I know that I can, and I can help you to get where you want to go, then we'll talk about how we do that. And I'll let you know how I'm doing that for my clients, and we'll see if that's a step that you're ready to take. But regardless, please do use this group. You guys comment, ask questions. Those of you who are struggling alone in parenting, really, you don't have to. It's so much better to just push through that discomfort of asking questions, participating here, showing up. Your kids will be better off for it, and so will you. So please do invite your friends. Let's bring in anyone who this can help and participate and use the space. Okay. I will look forward to hearing your comments. What was helpful? What more would you like to know? And use this group, create a post, drop a parenting question in. If you're new here, especially, let me know what you're wanting, and I'll circle back and see how I can help. All right. You guys have a beautiful hump day, and you're so welcome. Thanks for joining, and thanks for commenting, you guys. All right, and I'll see you again soon.